Hello, today I'm going to cover the commerce section. This is quite a large section, and there's quite a lot to cover in this. The e-commerce is this icon over here, or the commerce, we call it e-commerce, and you will just drag it in. There's one here already, but I can just drag in another, so you'll just drag it in where you want it. And then you just choose a selection that you want. You'll select this one first because this is the products, but then in future you can select other items in, like the different carts and anything else that you want to bring in, payment gateways and so forth. And then once you've selected it, it will then appear where you've put it, and then you can size it however you want to do it. We already have one there, so I'm going to take this one out. And as with all the other modules, when you select it, it shows the properties in the right-hand column. This module probably has the most properties out of all the modules, with store, settings, style, images, listing, and filter. Size to advanced is also applicable, but this is applicable to the entire module, not just to the individual items inside. And these you will find on all the modules. I will start working from the top down, looking at all these different items and how they impact the changes on the site and the properties that you want. Yeah, you can edit products, but you can also just double click on the product under the module itself. You can also edit the products here. It will look exactly the same. In the left-hand side here, you will have the list of your products. Here you will have the image of your product, plus you can have additional images. So if you bring in more images over here, then or add pictures over there, it will bring in more pictures. So on the actual product itself, you will have a few more pictures, little thumbnails at the bottom, so you can scroll through them. The name of this particular item, in this case we've got books and books, but it could be something else. As I said there, we've got books, and it could be ebooks or other type of books. This is for your transportation, your weight, and if you want to put a discount on the product, or you can come back and put discounts on. And then your categories. Your categories are important because you filter them over here to the different categories that people want to use, but also you can create a category and then pull in only that one category. For example, you might just want to have one product here, but you want, on another page, you want different products. So you can pull the shop in and you say, let's just say in this particular case, you want fiction only. Then further down here, I will show you where you can filter and only bring in fiction into this section. And that gives you the latitude to, as I say, bring in one product or different products in different places on your website. It will also show the categories in the website itself, on the product. Let's do that. Let's just duplicate this tab, and we can open up. Just load it quickly, and then we'll just open up a preview, and then I can just go from one tab to the other rather than loading it all the time, just to show you. Okay, so I'm just going to a preview on this product. Okay, so there in this particular one, under the ebooks, the category was there. Let's go to the first one where we saw, there we are. So in this particular one, we had all three selected, so you can see it's showing over here. Not only is the category used to select it on the web page, to show it on the web page, but it's also you also show it here next to the product. At the top here, you've got the SEO, so that you can set up the search engine optimizing for this product by having a title, description, and giving it a friendly URL or a friendly link. You can just hover over these little question marks here and it'll give you some more information. Like in this particular one, you can change it to, in this case, your website.com/store/Apple, if that's the link that you want. The variants there, we're going to come to that. When you start off, you won't see those variants because you need to create variants. If you do create variants, you'll see it there. Okay, so that is your categories, but if you click on this pencil here, you can add categories by just adding a new item, and we can just say category 1, just for example, and apply. Okay, well there you've got a new category. In the particular categories, you can say what you want it to look like, whether it's a thumbnail or table format. So the format will be when you, okay, I'll show you. Let's go to fiction and we say thumbnails and we apply here. You won't see it over here because this will always be your it'll always be your just the format you see here. But if you go to the website builder, let's go back and let's go to fiction. You'll see here the format now is in what we saw there. Double click. The format is table. This is a table. When you have another one, that is what they will call thumbnails. So once you've done the filter, it gives it to you in a table or a thumbnail format. That's basically all they're saying there. Okay, let's cancel there. We don't really need to change those back. No, just leave it on table. Okay, so that's your categories. You just name a category, you say which format you want, and that's it. And you just bring in more, and of course they can be dragged around. And that's all there is to say about a category. Over here is really where one needs to just concentrate a bit and understand what is going on here. We start off with item type. And in that item type, we can edit it. So these are the items over here. And then under each item, you have different options. And in these options, you have different types of listings. And in the listings, you have 2 different types of listings. And if it sounds complicated, don't worry. This is typical e-commerce. It does get a little bit tricky. But the reason for that is to make sure that they have a system that works for all scenarios. When it comes to e-commerce, what I normally think of is a t-shirt. And you want to sell t-shirts, and they have different sizes. So you have to have small, medium, and large. And each one of those have different colors. So you've got a small that's a black and a small that's a red, but you've also got a large that's red and black. The different sizes may be at different prices. So you need to be able to bring all that in, and other products as well that have other different sub-products and different variants that we call, whether it's long and short or high or small or whatever the variant is of that product. Okay, so in this section here, you have 2 types of options. The one option where you will see here is when you're creating the product, you will have different, say in this particular one, you've got different genres. These are applied to the product by the person running the shop. So this is not someone that's sitting on the purchasing side saying what genre they want, like a drop down. You are saying this book is a detective book, and it is in a format of a PDF. So if you go have a look at the product, if we just go back to all, I think we were looking at this one. The genre will give you detective and a PDF. So no one changes this. But this is the one which we will say, which we'll get to now, that is changed and your price changes. And this is called a variant. So let's go back there. And this is where you change that, but you can change your variants over here. So once you've created a variant, it'll pop up here, and then you can then put prices to your variants over here. All right, so in this particular case, we go over here, we can see which book have we got here, which one. These are just books. Okay, so we just go books there, and there you can see the genre, which is list of genre and list of covers. So the format is seen over there. What you will do when you come here for the first time, you will obviously not have this, so you can then create by adding a new option over here, and you will fill it in, and then you will list the types that you want to have. But if you don't have anything here you want, like you might already have sizes set up for this particular product, then you can just obviously select it, and you can then edit it. But if it's a new item, then you can go along here and then add the option that you want. In that, you will then create what you want to call it. So for that option, you'll create, say, hardback and paperback. And once that option is created and how you want it to show, you put it into a drop down. Okay. When we set up these options, I want to just, okay, well, let's just run through these over here. You can come around afterwards and say, okay, well, I don't want to show something for now, and you can then just say, don't see it, and this makes it searchable. And this makes it searchable in intervals. But when we select the type of option and how we want it to present it, we can say, okay, we want it to put into a text field or a checkbox field, or however we want to do it. These are not shown on the product side, but it is shown, or let me just reword that, it's not shown on the product side on the website that the end user sees. These are seen where you will be adding your data. So if we go back again to just the product, here it is. So we asked for checkboxes, there's checkboxes. These are radio buttons. Radio buttons is when they're usually round, but when you only can select one, yeah, you can select more than one. Okay, so there you will see the type that we've selected here. Checkbox. You see the detectives, it's done as a checkbox. But in this list, you've got types and variants. So types, and I'm just sort of repeating myself just so that you can get it. The types here is the ones that you as the seller will set up on the back end, how you want to manage the options, whether it be genre or size or whatever it is. If you want to say, okay, I'd rather have this as a button or a text area where you want to type something in, then so be it. But what I'm trying to get to is when we come to variants, then it's different, because variance is what is seen by the client on the front end. And I want to just see if we can't, if we're on the right place here. I just want to get to make sure we over here. Okay, here is a typical variant where we've selected a drop-down format. You can have different formats. You can choose a button format where you can just click different buttons. Colors, you can select the color and image. You can actually even have little images on the front the front end of the website for someone to select maybe a color of a t-shirt or whatever it is. But in this case, we've just done a drop down. So there's your drop down format, and once you've selected this and set a variant, that variant will come to the top here as a variant for books. It needs to be here because a variant is what the client selects, and with that you need to say, well, what are the different prices for that variant? So this is where it's done. So in this case, you're saying it's 100, I'd say 100 Rand for the A5, and then 150 and 200. So as the size gets bigger, this particular one has a discount. So if we go to A3, we can see there it shows a discount. It's telling you it's 180, so it's giving it as a discount. You can say how you want to have that discount. So there's discounted. This is just a calculated field, so you just put in 10%, it's calculated. And the quantities here is just saying the quantities of your product. You further down, there's settings where you can say you want your website to be managed by quantities, and you can even say once the quantities become zero, that the product actually doesn't even show, or at a certain level that the website will email you and say the minimum quantity has been reached for a certain product. SKU number is very important, especially if you've got variants. It'll always tell you, it'll always give you a warning that you need SKU number is just a unique number for your product. And I recommend that you always use an SKU number. And then you can also have an image for your variant. And it's just pull in whatever image you want that's applicable for your for the variant or the variation of your product. Of course, this applies to as many as you want. And we're just working on one product on one variation, but you can have multiple variations on the same product. Okay, so I hope you understand this, because once you've just grasped this little section over here, it's probably the most confusing out of them all. Then you will just be able to put your products together, and understand how you want to present them. Of course, here is your description, and you've got some formatting on your description as you want. Okay, moving on. Payment gateways. This is obviously important. People want to know how to pay. You need people to pay you. That's why you're doing it. So the one that I'd recommend to use here now in South Africa is PayFast. You can try PayPal on these ones as well. So if we just go PayFast, what you will need to do is, so you will just enable it there, and you can. And so this is where's it gone now? PayFast, there it is. So register on their website. The more information you give them, the better it is. And then once that's done, you just add in the merchant number, the ID number there, and the merchant key. And I think the passphrase you will just set in the admin of the PayFast site and bring it across here. And I think that's optional, but I would recommend it. And then you connect it. It's as simple as that. And then as soon as people select a product, it goes through to PayFast, and it does a transaction and brings it back here, and it's quite simple and straightforward. It is recommended. We use it quite extensively, this particular gateway. Okay, so that's the payment gateway. Invoices. Okay, this is just setting up your invoices, what you wanted to say at the top of the invoice, text above the invoice, text below the invoice, the name of the invoice, the logo, and you've got simple and advanced how you will set up the number structure if you want invoice and the number length. So it'll start with invoice, and if it's 8, then it'll obviously have 7 zeros and 1, and so it'll count up. On the advanced, you can have a little system going here where it says you can have how you want it to set up. There's different formats here. You just follow this. You use these ones in the curly braces here. You can have some text in the front, and it'll give you some examples of how the advanced is, how advanced looks. And that's your info. The API key is if you wanted to link it to a invoice package, and then you will just bring that key in from wherever, and they will connect. Okay, so that's invoices. Check orders. Obviously there's no orders to check now. Once the orders are going through, you will start seeing them here. You can export them and manage them from here. Destination zones. This is where the destination of the sales are. You can set it up. There's ZAR which I set up, and it's saying this is in South Africa. This will come up in the end of the process, where the people will select a zone, and that is used also for your transportation for your zones, for your shipping. Your tax rules, you'll just set up the tax rules and tax rate, include them, don't include them. You can have multiple tax rates if you're selling on different countries and so forth. It's quite straightforward. Shipping methods. You can bring in your, you see here is your zones that you set up earlier. You can have different types of shipping, flat rate, by weight, by subtotal, free, and so forth. Coupons is you can set up a coupon, and once the process of purchasing has gone through and they've registered and they've done everything and filled in all the information, then there's a field that will that a coupon code can be filled in, and you can use that for marketing or however you want to do with the coupons. Okay, and then obviously an email address for all notifications to be sent to. I'll just use this one here, but it's a dummy one, but you can just use your email addresses to contact, so the website can send notifications to you. Under settings, this is where I mentioned earlier using stock. Use stock info to control sales, show stock, hide stock, out of stock, send low stock, and then you can give a threshold when the stock the notification must be sent. Here's your currency, your decimal point, your prefix for your currency, and sometimes you want something after as well, maybe ZAR or something, 1000 separator, and tax, and then minimum order for tax. And then there's other settings here. Shipping requires billing for shipping, and requires agreement for terms and conditions. So when they fill out the order form at the end, and if you select this, then this same text will apply there. It will say agree to the terms and conditions, and then a little box next to it. My recommendation is that you put a link in here. So for example, you just highlight there, you put a link in, and you send it to any page. Let's just say a web address, and we just put in a dummy link there. So I don't know if it took it. Let's just have a look there. Web address, link there, apply. Okay, there. So now you can see there's a link there. So what you do is you create a page over here. Well, you'll create it at the top here, not over here. If you create a page with this menu at the top, it will appear in a menu. But if you create a menu item at the top, or a link or page at the top here, Let's want to correct myself there. When you create a page at the top here for your terms and conditions, then it won't appear in the menu, but you can link it then to terms and conditions. And when you link it, you will go to page on your website or drop down, and you will see that page. I did one beforehand, so you say, okay, I want to link it to my terms page, and we apply. So when they are processing the order, this text will come up, or whatever text you put in here, and with a link will go take them to the page if they want to view the terms and conditions. Okay, so I want to close settings. Style, these are the style of the items that we see over here: the name, the price, labels, description style, and system text. Okay, so it's the same as before with all styles, with all the different items there of the style that you can change. I don't want to stay there too long, because that is the same on all modules, and you can just change the styles as you want. Images, okay, so no photo image means if you haven't uploaded an image for your picture, it will show this image here. You can put a watermark on your images. You can have borders and animation as for your images. Okay, you can give sizes for your image and for your thumbnails. The number of images in your slider where you add more than, so you add 10 pictures for a particular product, and you can just globally set them to autofill. And then how you want those pictures to see. Will it auto crop? Will it fit it? Or will it just fill it? Okay. Right, these are images. These are fairly straightforward and not really much to do with e-commerce, but just how and where you do things. This is where you want to, if you just want a particular category to show, let's just say fiction, then it'll just show fiction. I've seen on some websites which look really nice is that they will have just on one page, and you'll sell one product, and you'll make it look very nice, and you have a lot of information. Then you create a category for that one product, and you'll select it here, and so you'll only show one product. Items per page, and you've just got a whole lot of things here, like you see buy now. You don't need to have it on this particular page. You can rather go to the product and then have the buttons there. But you can also, if you want to show it here on this page where you're listing the different products in a thumbnail format, you can also show it here. Okay, so that's under listing. Under filter, these are the different filters you have at the top of the page over here, where you can have price bars and the positions of the filter. This is fairly straightforward. Size, spacing, visibility, animation, and advanced are is for the entire one. So for example, if we said change this here to let's just change this to 1000, then it applies to the whole box. It won't apply to anything inside. Just it applied to the block. So let's just put it back to 1200, whatever size you want, but this is covered on other modules as well, on the overview if you want to know a little bit more about that. Just remember to check to see what your store looks like on different screen sizes. It will automatically set itself up to look fine, but just double check that everything's all right, that your texts are not too long and not overflowing, and it all pulls together nicely. Okay, well that's quite a long module, and I really hope that you understand that. Just before I finish, just remember to bring in a cart at the top, and I think once you've done this, a cart does automatically appear, but you can change it because this is needed obviously with your sales, because when you go and you add to cart, it'll have a button at the top here, and so if you want to go to that cart now, then the process is to go there to view your cart, and then from there, see there's your coupon. From there you can go change quantities a little more if you want to. You can delete your order and go back, or you can take it further to checkout, where you can, fill in information, and you see here's your terms and conditions. This if we'd saved it, this would be a link that people would go to the page and say, look, I first want to read your terms. Otherwise, if you've got it selected that they must agree, then you just take it to the next level, which will be your payment gateway, and so forth. Okay, so I think that covers the commerce section on the IDS website builder. I did rush through it quite fast, but it is a long section. But I think the main points have been covered, especially when it comes to setting up the product. I think this is important, this section here, that you've got it all together, and there's your SKU. You see there's warning you must have an SKU number. Yeah, you put in your quantities and your weights and so forth. As long as you understand this section and these little items here and how to change them, the rest is pretty straightforward. All right, thank you.